What's up, folks? Ethan here at Hunt Ford in Franklin, Kentucky, and today we're going to take a look at our very first 2024 Mustang GT. Now this is a GT Premium in Atlas Blue, but we're going to take a look at all of the new changes for the 2024 model year, take a look at the interior with the new dash, and we're going to talk a little bit about the exterior changes here as well. Now we will also do a driving review of this Mustang in a little bit later video. But if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe down below and hit that notification bell so when we post that video, you'll be the first one to see it. All right, so this is our first look at the 2024 Mustang in person. I've been waiting on this one to come in for a little bit, but we finally got it. I've had a little bit of an opportunity to take it for a couple test drives and see what we think as well. So we actually took this to the Franklin Car and Craft Show a couple weeks ago to show it off and let a couple people get their first impressions on what the all-new Mustang body style looks like. We've got a whole new front clip up here with new LED headlights. The inside of the grille here, this front fascia, actually changes a little bit depending on which model you get. The EcoBoost is a little unique. Of course, the GT here has this black inlay. So this is going to change a little bit depending on your different models. As well as here on the GT, you do get that hood scoop. I really like the front end. I think they took some of the things that the Mustang does well, made it a little more polished and just a little more modern. I think it looks really good. Of course, moving back, you've got your silver painted 19-inch wheels and your big bright red Brembo brakes. You can change these to a few different colors. I believe there's blue and black as an option, and of course the bright red. As you can see here, you've got your updated 5.0 badge. This is a new 5.0 V8 or an updated modified version. It's going to get 480 horsepower instead of the last generation 470 horsepower, so a little bit of an increase. And we'll go into depth about that during our driving review. Just know that it's not the same old Coyote that you're used to. Got a new kind of design back here on both the way the roof sits as well as this fender. They've widened this out a little bit. This is where a lot of people are going to be saying that this kind of resembles a certain bow tie brand sports car. I don't see it as much. I mean, I do think it, from this angle, looks a little more reminiscent of a Camaro, but it still has all of its Mustang kind of roots back here in the back. They did angle this a little bit more to feel a little more aggressive, as well as looking back here in the back, you can see where it's got a lot more of that typical Mustang flair that you're used to. Of course, you do have your 3.5-inch chrome tipped exhaust tips. This doesn't have the active exhaust. If you did that, you will get a dual exhaust on both sides. Once we get our first model in with that, we will take a look for you. On this section here, on this pillar, they've lowered it a little bit, but they've also rounded out the roof. For those of you who do a little bit of track driving, it's gonna supposedly fit a helmet in a lot better. I don't typically wear a helmet when I drive. I don't drive a Mustang very often, but that's supposed to give you a little bit better clearance on the inside. You do feel it. It does feel a little more roomy in the roof. I'm not a very tall person. A lot of you have made that clear on my Super Duty videos. All right, so after starting it, you can see what this new center dash looks like. Of course, you've got your 12.1 inch instrument cluster and a 13.2 inch touchscreen. At first it looks like there is one screen that pans across, but it's actually two screens, which ultimately helps save a little bit in terms of production costs, because you're not having to replace a whole center screen if there are any issues. But we've actually got a lot of good reports out of these 13.2 inch screens. It looks really similar size-wise, and the skin is very similar to what's on the new 2023 Escapes. So this is the new Sync 4 that's going to be coming out on these 13.2 inch screens. This does have both heated and cooled seats, which is very nice to have. Of course, you've got a heated steering wheel. Again, this is the Premium, so everything's just a little bit nicer. You get a couple extra add-ons with that. You get this nice, almost carbon fiber looking material with some of the leather-ish upholstery. Got your Mustang badge there and some more of that carbon fiber material up at the top. One thing we really like is the ability to change a lot of the settings. If you go to features here, you can go to your My Mustang, and it's going to give you a lot of different changes for both this screen and your cluster. So right now it's set to normal, but you can actually go in here and change your cluster to either match your drive mode. You've got normal, sport, and this is what it's going to look like in the end, but it does change it over here. Track, it's going to give you more information and focus a little heavier on your RPMs. Got a specific home screen, but this is my favorite. This is the Fox body style screen, and it actually lights up green when you are in darker settings, so that way it feels very reminiscent to those old school Fox body gauges that everyone knows and loves. Of course, you can change your drive modes here, and it's got this really good looking animation for each specific mode, as well as you've got your updated adaptive cruise and lane centering here on the GT Premium. You can also update your steering here on the steering wheel as well. Down here you've got your start engine. This is actually pretty hard to see. It's a little different than it used to be. It used to be a silver with the red lines, if I remember correctly, but now it's bright red with your dark gray. So it's a little harder to read, but everyone knows that the big red button means go. You've got your Mustang My mode, so you can change your My Mustang settings that we showed you earlier. Traction control, emergency lights. You can go to your favorites. Auto hold, everybody likes. And you've got your max defrost button there. The big thing that I really was not excited to see on this Mustang, that I think is a thing that I would like to see manufacturers not necessarily go towards, is that all of your climate controls are on the touchscreen. I really prefer those to be on the dash, and a lot of our customers prefer those to be on the dash as physical buttons. It's a little easier to use if you're driving, especially in a car that's sports mentality almost. It's going to be a little harder to change these while you're driving with a little bit more aggressiveness. Down here you have a USB, USB-C, and a 12-volt outlet down here, as well as you've got a wireless charger. Of course, this does have the 10-speed automatic transmission. If you pull it all the way back to manual, you do have shifters back here behind the steering wheel. We will do a driving review of this model a little bit later this afternoon, and we'll post that over the next few weeks. Again, if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and do so down below and hit that notification bell. That way, once we post that driving review, you'll be the first one to see it. And of course, you've got your electronic parking brake. I do prefer having a handbrake. There is a new feature on these. It is the electronic drift brake. I believe that's on specific models of GT and the Dark Horse. We're excited to see how that actually works. It's a little bit different since there is no physical handbrake like there used to be. It's all electronic, and the technology behind it is really interesting. It's something we'll be excited to finally play with once we get the opportunity. Up here you can see you've got your upgraded B&O audio system. They've been doing this in Mustangs for a little bit, and it does always sound really good. But this is, again, our first look at the all-new Mustang in person. As always, if you have any questions about this model, this one is available for sale here at the dealership. We'll link it down in the description below. But if you have any questions, let us know. We'll be happy to answer them. This is the first look we've gotten at the 2024 Mustang here on the lot. Of course, there is an opportunity to still order these Mustangs. Ford hasn't told us that they've pulled them just yet, so we can always help you get one if you are interested. Once we get our first Dark Horse, we will post that and let you all take a look at it. That is going to replace the Mach 1 model of it. It's got a updated engine that's a modified version of the one that they've got here in the GT, and it's supposed to get up to 500 horsepower, so obviously we're going to do a driving review of that as well. If you have any questions, let us know down in the comments below. We'll be happy to answer them. That's about all I've got for you today, folks. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you later.